create a file that will be called function1 basically for JS. And let me quickly clear this thing. Let's go to our functions and I can quickly clear it once again. All right. So back to our IDE. Let's cover something quickly. We talked about objects, right? Basically, let's start with our data type. So we had primitive and non-primitive data type. Everyone, याद है सबको? Primitive, non-primitive data type. Right. For the last few weeks, we are going through non-primitive data type, right? जिसमें क्या कहते हैं? What have we learned in non-primitive data type? First one was array, right? Then object, and currently we are learning function, which is technically again a data type which comes under non-primitive. ठीक है? So objects, what was object? Let's say if I ask you guys to compress the definition in one line, can I say कि it's collection of key value pairs? Correct? Key value pairs, right? So if anyone says कि we have some key value pairs, you'll know कि they are talking about key value pairs or rather collection of them. ठीक है? उसी तरीके से if I remember correctly, we have covered just a bit basic about function in last lecture, right? So let me know if this definition for function can be correct or not. I can say it's a block of code which can be run at our command. Can I say this for function? Can I say this for function, guys? एक block of code जिसको हम अपने command पे run कर सकते हैं. Yes, yes. तो जो basic syntax था, it was something like this. Sorry. I was writing a function. I was giving that function a name. So basically, let's go with function name actually, and then the parenthesis and a curly braces, right? So this entire thing was basically your syntax for function, and this thing was to create scope. Scope बनाने के लिए आता था, right? So let's say in this I've written console.log a comma b. Now, if I run this file, if I do a node function on it, should I be able to print a and b? Let's say, let me create the values. Let's say a is 1 and b is 2. So if I run this file, should I be printing something or not? Okay, I can see some yes, I can see some no. Let's try to run this, right? So we're not printing anything, right? The reason is the syntax isn't complete yet. Okay, so there is two parts in functions. First is that function creation itself and then calling that function, right? So jab bhi whenever we need to call that function, whenever I'm going to call one of you guys, I'm going to say your name, right? So I'll say the function's name, and for JavaScript to know that we're calling this, we'll need to write a parenthesis, right? Explain object to assignment questions. If you have any doubts, Ravi, please ask it in IA session, right? They'll help you one-on-one. Okay, we have to cover lecture. Can't go on with assignment problems, right? All right. So the issue should be resolved there. If not, we'll take it if we have time. All right. So we'll be basically calling that function. Now, if I run it, you will see I am actually printing something, right? Whichever thing that has been written in this, right? So now it's a block of code which is going to run at our command, which is basically calling that function, right? Now in this parenthesis, हम कुछ pass कर सकते थे, if you guys remember, right? So let's say if I write a comma b in this, and if I comment this out, should I be able to access this a and b? Everyone? Everyone? And कहाँ से आएगा ये a and b? Basically from this parenthesis. From this parenthesis. Okay? And the values for these a and b will be coming from us whenever we are calling this function. If you guys remember it. इतने याद है सबको? Right? Now, let me know I'm calling this function, right? In this function, we are supposed to pass something that is this a and b. We're not passing it, so we are still consoling it. JavaScript कोई कीवर्ड देने वाला है इन दोनों को. If I run it, it's gonna console something, right? Basically a JavaScript keyword जो कि JavaScript assigns to variable which haven't been given value. Remember? Achha, let's say I've created a variable hello, right? And if I try to console dot log hello this, should I be printing something? Guys, come on, everyone. I'm not gonna print something. I'm gonna print something. कुछ तो print करूंगा, right? A value that was assigned by JS. Whenever we don't provide a value to it, was it undefined? If you guys remember it, was it right? So that same thing is gonna happen somewhat here. We have variables which are not yet given any values, right? If I run it, I'm gonna get undefined, right? Wahin pe we have declared variables. Let's give them some values. So if I pass 2 and if I pass 4, now I should be printing 2 and 4 respectively. यहाँ तक clear है everyone? Is this thing clear? Everyone, सबको clear? All right. So let's get our definition straight. This thing, this parenthesis passing thing, this thing is called parameters, right? If someone asks, this is called parameters, and whenever we are passing it in our calls, this thing is going to be called arguments. Okay, so let's quickly recap how we were creating basically functions. So I'm going to write this syntax which says function and the name of this function. It can be anything. It can be function name. It can be like you guys know already. OJ pe solve kiye problems. You see the function's name are different for each question. Let's say you have to multiply by 2. The function's name might be multiply by 2. Aisa kuch, right? It's functions only. Okay, so we have our functions. We have a parenthesis. Okay, we have our parenthesis, right? In this, we are passing something that is called parameters. Basically, ये क्या होता है? These are undefined variables. ठीक है? And in variables को definition कब देते हैं हम लोग? Whenever we are calling that function with those specific values. अभी clear है? Uttam, is it clear now how we are defining a functions and all? Clear? All right. So let's get to a quick exercise, everyone. All you have to do is you have to basically take 3 numbers as parameters, right? Parameters in a function and print the sum of all of the parameters. कर सकते हैं क्या हम लोग? Can we do this? Can we do this problem? All right, I'll give you guys 3 minutes. Try it, everyone. सब कोई try करो. I'll keep the syntax here so that you guys can refer it or try करो सब. Abhijit, the question is here. You have to basically take 3 numbers as parameters. This is parameters if you know. Okay, so you have to create a function जो कि 3 numbers लेता है as a parameter, and you have to print the sum of all those 3 numbers. All right, try it, please. Vikesh, almost correct. सबको प्लस कर दो बस. right? So it should be A plus B plus C, right? Shubham correct. Ashfaq correct. Correct. Sonal correct. Shripad correct. Kapil correct. Sunkar correct. Sharon correct. But okay, you're hard coding it. I hope you're calling it also, right? Although the code is correct. Sakshi correct. Praveen correct. Vesalam correct. Vishal, Aparna, Abhijit, everyone's correct. Most of you guys are almost able to do it. All we have to do is, let's do it together, people. साथ में करते हैं. New entries, Mulkesh, correct, Kushi, okay. Should be calling it. ठीक है, let's quickly write it. तो हमें क्या लिखना है? We have to write a function and we have to give it a name. So let's say कि I'm doing a sum in it. So I'll write sum of 3, right? And in this, I'll be passing 3 variables, right? So A, B, C, basically जिसको हम parameters बोलते हैं. And in this, let's say I've created a variable that's called sum, and all it does is A plus B plus C. And in this, I'm going to do a console.log sum, right? And now I'll go here and I'll call this function. Okay, I'll do a 1, 2, and 3. What should I get if I run the code? 6, right? If I do this, I should be getting 6, right? Ye 2 and 4 yahan se. Clear? Clear? So do I need to give you a problem in which all you have to do is you have to multiply A, B, and C? नहीं देना पड़ेगा? नहीं देना पड़ेगा? शाहरुख, थोड़ी देर में बताऊंगा वो बात. ठीक है, थोड़ी देर. Just give me a few more minutes actually. ठीक है, एक progression है. I'll give you guys an idea with that. इतना clear है guys? How we are calling the function and all? इतना clear है everyone? Right? So let's try to understand. We know why we need arrays. We know why we need objects to hold data, to create collections of data. Why the hell do we need functions, some block of code which can be run at our command, right? So let's say अगर मैं आपको Flipkart पे ले जाऊँ, ठीक है? In here, if I click on let's say this one, right? और मैं इसको buy now पे click करूँगा, right? तो I'm gonna go to a page that's called, that will take me for buying it, right? So basically वो मुझे पूछ रहा है, you have to sign up, right? Right? Then we have this add to cart button. If I click on this button, I'm going to a page जहाँ पे basically I'll have to add these buttons. Yes, these buttons, have we seen these buttons, people? Button देखें हर website पे, हर website पे. ठीक? What this button does is, it basically comprises of something that are called events. Events, right? So when we fill some input, when we click on some buttons, those things are called in technical terms events, right? And these events happen via click on a and create a square on a button, right? And this button is nothing but it's gonna be your function call, right? So there will be a pre-written piece of code that's gonna take something to your cart. All you have to do is you have to click on this button and you have to call that function. समझ आ रहा है? Just getting a basic idea कि how this function is gonna work in bigger picture. Guys, everyone. क्या हुआ आज? You guys are not responding. What? Everyone. Okay, I'll repeat once again. Okay. So let's say I have a button, right? That says like, right? And this button, whenever I'm clicking on this button, there is some box. There is some box in which there's 1, right? If I'm clicking on this button, should it go for 2? If I click it again, should it go for 3? Something like this. Itna expected hai for a button, right? So what happens is we have a pre-written block of code in which what we are doing is we're taking a variable, right? Let like equal to, we're starting with 0, right? And jab bhi, whenever we are clicking on this button, no, whenever we are clicking on this button, is function mein, let's say I'm doing a like plus plus, right? So whenever you're clicking on this button, no, what it is doing is it is basically calling this function, right? ये इस फंक्शन को एरो ये इस फंक्शन को कॉल कर रहा है एंड दिस थिंग इज गना बेसिकली इंक्रीमेंट इट, राइट? तो यहाँ पे प्लस प्लस होता जाएगा, राइट? तो when we're clicking on this button, it's gonna call this function, run the function, and we're gonna print 1, right? So let me show you guys how we can do that actually, right? So for now, we are not gonna create buttons and all, right? Because abhi we don't know. I mean, we already know the HTML, but we don't know how we can mix it with JS for now. But we can create the basic structure. Let's say I have a function that says number of likes, right? And this is gonna, okay. Let's say let's create a variable like equals to 0. And whenever we are doing this, whenever we are running this function, all I have to do is like plus plus, and I have to basically console log this like, right? So if I run this function, what should I print? What do you guys think? Should I print 0? Should I print 1? What? 1, right? So if I do a quick node function on this, I'm printing 1. What do you guys think what is going to happen if I call this once again? Are we expecting 2 or are we expecting 1 again? Because koi fark nahi padta hai. We're just calling that block of code. Okay, let me show you. If I run this, I'm getting 2, right? Let's say if I copy it 8 times, and if I do a function on it, I'm gonna get till 8. So basically what's happening is we're taking a variable, we're creating a function, and in that we're basically increasing that function and printing that value, right? Jitni baar bhi you're gonna call that function, no, it's gonna modify this variable that many times. So basically we have written a code for likes, and all we are doing is we are pressing a button. समझे? अच्छा, कितने लोगों को नहीं समझ आया what we were doing till now? 0 in chat if you are not getting it. I can see most of you guys are getting it. So now again, this like thing, is there only like button or is there a dislike button too? Dislike button bhi hota hai kya? Right? So if I somehow manage to call a function which does like minus minus, will I be decreasing the count? You guys want to try that? Try writing that function. Okay, I'll give you guys 3 minutes. Try. No, that's why we are using this calling, right? Call is gonna work only that many times jitni bar hum usko press kar rahe hain, right? This each call is referring to how many times you're pressing the button. I'm just giving you guys an analogy. अभी हम कोई बटन नहीं प्रेस कर रहे, राइट? हम वर्क करें जब I is less than or equals to n हो जाए. Yes, that is something that you're trying to write a condition. एक काम करते हैं, just create this dislike button and I'll show you guys how we can write conditions in it. Basically ये आपका environment है, you can write any type of code in this. ठीक है, just try to create that dislike button and then I'll show you how you can write condition in it. Everyone please try. function dislike, ठीक है, all right, ठीक है. So most of you guys are able to do it, but let me know. Let's say if I'm writing a function number of dislikes, right? And in this, if I'm doing a dislike, should I create a new variable या फिर इसी को use करूं? I should be using this only, right? Because we have to do addition on this and subtraction on this. एक ही variable में, है ना? ठीक है, ठीक. So all I have to do is I have to do a like minus minus and just print console.log the like, right? So let's say someone pressed number of like 2 times this button, like button, and they pressed number of dislikes again for now twice. So if I do a clear and if I do a node function on it, what should I be getting? Okay, let's try to break it down. एक बार थोड़ा सा इसको समझते हैं कि what is going behind. ठीक है. So in line number 40, we are calling some function that is called number of like. Basically this one, right? What happens in this function is you're doing a like plus plus and you're consoling the like, right? So now I'm doing a like plus plus, so I should be printing 1 here. Okay. Then in line number 41, I am calling a function number of like again. Okay. So this piece of code is gonna run again. Now in here, I'm gonna print to everyone. 2 print करेंगे, right? Then in line number 42, we are again calling a function that is called number of dislikes. This one. उसमें क्या कर रहे हैं? We are doing a like minus minus. For now, what's the value of like? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? What's it? क्या है? For now, 2 है, right? 2 है. So now this is going to be 2. यहाँ से we know that the likes value is 2. We are going to do a 2 minus minus, that is basically getting it back to 1. 1. Everyone with me? Everyone? Check. And we are calling this function once again. So now is it going to be 1? My bad. 0. Is it going to be 0? Everyone? Right? Let's try to run this function, shall we? Let's see if we have told the answer correctly. Yes, we have. Okay. So let's say I go and press this one more time. What's gonna happen? -1. कभी -1 likes देखे हैं? I mean, if you guys have scrolled Reddit, there might be minus upvotes or downvotes, but we're talking about the mainstream things, right? तो Instagram हो गया, Facebook हो गया, I guess Instagram पे likes होते होंगे, right? तो again, those like 0 तक ही रहते हैं, right? So in here, can we write a condition which checks if likes is greater than or equals to 0, then only run this condition? Can we do that? Right? All we have to do is we have to write a conditional statement in it. Basically, if our like is greater than or equals to 0, then only we should be running this thing, right? Let me get and print it. Basically, L miss kar diya, so let's keep the L there. Else, or never mind, we don't have to print anything for me. Okay, so let's go back and let's do a node function again. Still printing -1 is greater than or equals to 0. We should be keeping greater than, right? Equals to 0 rakhenge, so it's still gonna go at -1. And so quickly, guys, everyone tell me, when I kept it greater than or equals to, we are still printing -1. Understandable why that was happening? This -1, guys, everyone, right? When the like is 0, we're still entering this condition, right? And then we are doing a like minus minus, basically -1, and then we're printing it. We should be keeping it only greater than 0. Make sense? Make sense? Right? So now, however many times we're going to call this number of dislikes, even if I'm going to call it 6 times, let me just remove this and this, it's still gonna get stuck at 0 only. Clear है? Clear है? Yeah, G1 we can go if like is less than 0, great. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. That's fine. ठीक है. तो is calling the function clear everyone? क्या हो रहा है, कैसे हो रहा है? Any doubts till now, anyone? Right? And I've given you just a glimpse कि overview में क्या होने वाला है, क्या करने वाले हो with these calling functions. Right? Basically, let's say कि I'm clicking on add to cart. तो add to cart में +1 हो रहा है ना? That's because of something that is running a function. Right? So basically, whenever we're clicking a button, we are calling a function. ठीक है? Okay. If no doubts, shall we move forward? आगे बढ़े? आगे बढ़े? Let's talk about something in here only. ठीक. So just for one feature, one like feature, we have created two separate functions. Let's say I can do this in one function. How many of you guys think this can be done in one function? एक मिनट देता हूं, just try to think about it. सोचो, just try to think about it. That's all. You don't have to give a proper solution. I'll be doing that, but just try to think about it. Two variables. Okay. Can you repeat? Yes, sure. So I have created two different functions for two different calling, right? So let's say I have to increase the like, I'm going to call number of like, and if I have to decrease the like, I'm calling number of dislikes. Let's say I just want to create one function for that. Abhi clear hai? Like, dislike. No, nested functions नहीं चाहिए होंगे. अच्छा, ठीक है. I'll give you guys a bit of a syntax. ठीक है. Let's see if you guys are able to think about it or not. ठीक है. So let's say I have a variable like, and this is 0. I have created a function. Let's name it something for now. कोई नहीं. It's just gonna be a basic code. Can I get parameters in this thing? Can I get a parameter in this function? Parameter, right? So let's say this is a param, right? I'm just naming it a param, basically short form of parameters, right? और जब भी मैं इस फंक्शन को कॉल कर रहा हूं, let me name it as function name. ठीक? Whenever I'm calling this function name, I should be passing something. Everyone, I should be passing something, right? Let's say I'm going to pass just two values in this function. Either it's going to be true या फिर वो false होगा. And by that condition, can I somehow write true? If this is true, do something else, do something else. Can I do this? Is this possible? Is this possible? Idea लग रहा है कि how we can do two things in one function only. Like भी कर सकते हैं, dislike भी कर सकते हैं. You guys want to try it? अच्छा, एक काम करो, try it. Try it. All you have to do is you have to pass an argument. अगर ये true है तो maybe you can go for increment in count and print. Else you can basically do a decrement in count and print. Try करो एक बार, सब try करो. I'll give you guys again 3 minutes, 3 नहीं 4 minutes. It's a bigger function तो थोड़ा सा और time ले. Try it, everyone. shift plus enter guys, shift plus enter next line में आने के लिए. यस यस साक्षी, आपको इसके बेसिस पे चेक नहीं करना है, आपको बेसिस पे चेक करना है कि व्हाट आर्ग्यूमेंट वी आर पासिंग. तो अगर हम ट्रू पास कर रहे हैं, यू शुड बी रनिंग सम पीस ऑफ कोड. बेसिकली आई एम रेफरिंग टू, यू कैन राइट दिस लॉजिक इनसाइड दैट पार्ट, और अगर वो फॉल्स है ना तो यू कैन राइट द अदर लॉजिक. ठीक है, यू डोंट हैव टू टच दिस एक्सेप्ट फॉर अंदर के लॉजिक के. Like a, if a is like minus minus, okay, that works. Given correct. Like 0 if like is greater than this. शुभम थोड़ा सा और ट्वीक करना पड़ेगा अपने को. We have to use arguments for this. Arguments parameter, remember this thing, यहाँ पे जो हम लेते हैं that is called parameter, यहाँ पे जो पास करते हैं that is called argument. If true, like, else, like, plus, and console. Vishal, almost correct, but you're passing parameter with some other name and you're using the parameter as some other name, right? You can go for if param equals to true, या फिर directly param लिख दो. If it's true, that piece of code is gonna run, else something else. Mulkesh, you are also almost correct, but हाँ, फिर parameter के नाम you're using parameter, right? यहाँ पे जो param नाम दिया है ना, we're going to use that as a variable only, right? So यहाँ पे we should be going with param only, right? We should be using this variable. Correct, Suraj, but we are not accepting parameters. We have to pass this. If we are passing something here and we haven't written anything here, it does not matter. That's going to give an error. हाँ अभी करेक्ट है मुकेश, करेक्ट. If like plus plus, Rahul, you will have to tweak your if else condition में जो condition pass करो, right? तो उसको like plus plus and like minus minus के बजाय keep it param, right? तो अगर parameter is true, you're gonna run that code, else not. Guys, one more minute, everyone. एक और minute है. Try it, else we'll do it together. चलो everyone, let's do it together. साथ में करते हैं, ठीक है? Now let's have a variable that is of course going to get called like, that is 0. We create a function and this is going to be like counter, right? And this is going to accept something that is called param. Basically कोई भी parameter का नाम, you can keep it anything. I hope that's clear. You can keep this dog, cat, Iron Man, Captain America, anything. That's going to work, right? And now in here, I'll be passing this, basically calling this function, and I'm going to pass, let's say, true in this. So if I do a console.log of param, what should I print? Should I print this param string, or should I be printing whatever value I have passed in it? Everyone, what should I be printing? The value, जो भी वैल्यू यहाँ पे पास कर रहे हैं, बीट ट्रू, बीट 1 2 3 4 7 8, a string, array, anything, right? एक बार मैं दिखा भी देता हूँ सब करके, right? Let's say यहाँ पे I'm passing true. Let's say in the next line I'm passing 2. Let's say in next line I'm passing a string, and next line let me pass an array, and in this let me pass an object, right? If I go, let me clear it. Let me run this. I should be printing each and every parameter, whatever I'm passing in it, right? Itna clear, everyone? What parameter is? This can be named anything, is it? Right? If I want, I can name it Shaktiman, right? And I can go and print Shaktiman. We should be printing anything that we're passing. इतना क्लियर है सबको? नो डाउट स्टिल दिस थिंग एटलीस्ट? ठीक है, ठीक है, चलो. तो लेट्स कीप दिस इसी तरीके से रखते हैं. लेट मी जस्ट कॉपी दिस पार्ट. आई विल कमेंट दिस वन आउट ताकि यू कैन रेफर दिस लेटर. एंड चलो, नाउ इन हियर let's say if I'm passing through and the Shaktiman thing is true. So if I write if console.log that was true, else this way, console.log that's false. What should I be printing given that I'm passing true? I'm passing true, so this thing, it's gonna be true. So this code is gonna run, everyone, right? So we're gonna print true. If I pass false in this, what should I be printing? The false one, right? Let's say I pass a falsy value in this, right? So let's say I pass 0. What do you guys think? Falsy value. Clear? Okay. So now we know that if we are gonna pass either true, we can run some sort of code, this one. Else, if we are passing false, I'm gonna print this one. So all I'll do is, in this block of code, I'll go and write like plus plus, and in this block of code, I'll go and write like minus minus, right? And once if else condition run kar gaya, I'll just go and I'll just print console.log like. This is all we had to do, right? Now, let's say we're trying to do a thumbs up. I should be passing true, right? If I'm passing true, this piece of code is going to run. I'm going to go and increment the like. And once this is done, I should be printing that like, right? Now, if I go in this, I'll be printing 1. If I call this one 4 times, I should be printing 4, right? And if I call a dislike once, like counter or dislike once, I should be, let me clear it, I should be printing finally 3. 1 minus 4. Clear है guys? Right? Yes, yes Mihir. ठीक है? So let's say if you're clicking on like button, you will be basically running this function with true as an argument. And if you're clicking on the dislike button, you'll be basically pressing this button with false as an argument. अब समझ आ रहा है? Bigger picture with functions. Everything's getting clear. Okay. ठीक है, ठीक है. तो चलो. Let's get a bit more, let's get a bit more creative. Let's create a banking system. एक banking system बनाते हैं. उसमें we are gonna have a variable which is gonna hold balance, right? So let's say we have 4,000 and balance. ठीक. Now I'll be calling this function with 2 arguments, right? So let's say I have let's say I have a function bank of Masai, right? And isme I'm gonna pass condition, right? I'll just name it condition. And in this I'll be passing, whenever I'm calling this function, either I'll gonna write withdraw, है ना, और यहीं पे लिख देता हूँ, और I'm gonna pass deposit. यही तो functions होते हैं in bank, in ATM, anywhere. Withdraw or deposit, everyone. अच्छा, we can create one more thing. Basically उसमें हम रखेंगे check balance. ये भी होता है ना, ये भी होता है, right? तो I'll give you एक छोटा सा hint देता हूँ. I'll give you a hint. Basically you'll have to create a variable that's gonna hold your balance, right? If you're passing this condition, all you have to do is in that function you have to check if your condition is equals to withdraw. अगर वो withdraw के बराबर है तो do a function that basically withdraws it. Withdraw का मतलब क्या होता है? डालना या निकालना पैसे, putting it in bank or getting it out of it. निकालना. So what will you do? If I have done a withdrawal of 400, should I increase the balance or should I decrease the balance with 400? With 400, right? So I basically need a condition जिसमें हमने withdraw किया है, and do we need a one more parameter in which we are passing value कि मतलब कितना amount withdraw किया है या credit किया है? Do we need this? What do you guys think? एक और पैरामीटर चाहिए होगा इस फंक्शन में, right? So let's say I'm passing a withdraw. I should be telling the ATM how much money I want to withdraw. So let's say I'm withdrawing a 1,000. What should my balance be? Now 3,000, right? Let's say I'm calling Bank of Masai with a command that says deposit, and it says 10,000. Right? Once I have withdrawn it, it's 3,000, 3,000 hai, and then I'm trying to deposit it. 13K, everyone, 13K, right? So is the question clear ki what we have to basically create, what system we have to create? You guys want to try it or shall we do it together yahi se? Try it, everyone? Everyone? Together, okay. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's create the withdrawal system together and then I'll leave the deposit for you guys. Okay, let's try to do this. Let's try to do this. Let's say I've created a variable, right? A variable that says balance, right? And for now, let's keep this balance 0. Now, what I'm going to do is if condition is equals to with, shall we write a switch condition for this, guys? Switch condition लिखे क्या? Switch cases याद है? Shall we try that? वो लिखना है. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. So switch, we have to write a switch, and then इसके अंदर what do we have to pass? Condition, right? So this thing is for now the condition that we want, right? So the condition, and then inside this we have to write the cases. So now if the condition is equals to, और ये भी नहीं करना पड़ेगा, all we have to do is if the condition is withdraw, right? Other condition is equals to withdraw, we have to run a piece of code that says balance minus equals to this amount जो हमने withdraw किया, everyone, right? Everyone, come on, है ना? I'm gonna write a amount in. Check. Once this is done, please give me a slip that says whatever amount I have been left with. I should be writing a balance, right? And then if you guys remember, case के बाद finally क्या लिखते थे? Once we are done with the logic in switch cases, a break condition, right? Let's write a break condition. Okay, let's try to run our code. I've written a withdraw statement. I'm withdrawing 1000. Let's keep this 2000 for now. Okay. So let's try to run this code. Let me clear it and let's try to run it. Am I withdrawing 1000? The balance? Let me write यहाँ पे. Let's set a string so that we know कि हम क्या print कर रहे हैं. Balance left after withdrawal. Right. So let me clear it and let's run this function again. So I'm left with a balance of 1000. Make sense, everyone? Everyone? Right? Now, let's say I want to write the condition for deposit and checking the balance. Can you guys do it? Right? We were trying switch cases. If you want, you can do this in if-else condition. All you have to do is, I'll just write it shortly in here. You will have to write a with if इसमें write condition is equals to withdraw, right? और बस इसके अंदर just take this condition and paste this. इतना ही करना था, right? I just wanted you guys to एक बार revise करा देना switch. तो yeah, we're here. Okay, quickly try to write. Okay, you guys are already writing it. So if else condition में किया है, that's fine. So either it's deposit. Okay, that's correct. That's correct. Not an issue. That's not an issue. Your code is always welcome. Correct. Guys, you might want to try for depositing and checking the balance. एक बार try करो, everyone. Correct. Is it visible, the code? Guys, is the code visible? आपको, everyone? ठीक है. Let's quickly write it, right? So I'll help you guys only. So all I have to do is I have to write a case again, right? This will say deposit, right? So deposit, and once we're depositing it, the balance should increase, right? So amount, and let me do a console.log. Balance added, final balance equals to your balance. And again, break condition. And finally, if we are not writing any condition, can we write a default condition, which is going to basically just print console.log the balance, right? Basically, final else condition. I'll make it big. I just wanted everything to be in same place. Abhi dikh raha hai? Fine. Right? So this entire thing makes sense, guys. समझ आ रहा है, everyone? All right. So let's try to make a deposit, right? So in Bank of Masai, I wanna deposit 100 rupees, right? So let's try to run this function and let's see what happens. Functions. I'm adding the balance, right? So current balance is 2100. If I try to withdraw it, let's say I'm withdraw and I'm writing 2000. What should I get, guys? What should I be printing, given that we are going to do a decrease? 100, everyone, right? Let's see. If I do a function, am I getting 100? No, I'm getting a 0. 0 is because the balance is 2000 and we are withdrawing exactly 2000. Why so? Top to bottom, yes, correct. बचा मिहिर देखो, हमने डिपॉजिट किया 100, right? So now the current balance should be 2100. So if I withdraw 2000, I should be left with at least 100 rupees. है ना? Correct, Kapil. Exactly. We are not storing this balance. What is happening is, just quickly let me know कि अगर मैं इसको थोड़ा सा छोटा कर दूं, if you guys are able to see it or not, इतना सा, so that I can get everything in same picture. दिख रहा है क्या? All right. ठीक है. So now what I'm doing is I have basically a variable that stores the balance, right? Which has 2000. If I'm running this code, this entire thing is gonna run. Everyone, right? From line number 104 to line number 127, top to bottom. Yes, no, anything? Yes, right? ठीक है. Once this is done running or calling, if I call this once again, is it gonna run again everything? Everything, right? तो यहाँ पे if the balance is 2100, if this entire thing is running again, are we not reassigning the balance to 2000 again? Getting it? Everyone. So we have to basically keep this variable out of this function ताकि this variable does not gets update every time the function is running. Right? Right? अभी क्या होगा? Whenever we are calling this function, no, it's gonna run from line number 106 to 127. This thing is gonna be left untouched. So abhi, if I'm doing a deposit of 100, this should be 2100. If I'm doing a withdrawal of 2000, let me run this. Terminal kahan gaya? Let me run this function. I should be getting 100. Clear? Clear? समझ आया what was happening? Everyone? And break के बाद बताता हूँ कि ये पढ़ाया है क्यों, ये चीज पे ध्यान क्यों ले गया आपका मैं. ठीक है? Let's have a break of 3 minutes and then I'll tell you guys basically something that you guys might remember. Block याद है क्या? Global, local. एक बार फिर से we'll recap it. ठीक है? तो guys take a break of 3 minutes and get back at 5. Everyone. हाँ समझाऊंगा बिल्कुल बिल्कुल आदित्य. I'll explain you once again. Condition amount correct Sharon. All right guys, have a break of 3 minutes, get back at 6 guys, everyone. Everyone back? आगे क्या सब? One in chat. Okay, one in chat के बजाय सीधे codes. Okay, deposit. Correct. ठीक है. All right. So we all did that deposit and withdrawal thing, right? And we tried to understand that when we're putting this thing outside, we were basically updating it, or under we were resetting, right? So why did I took you there? So let me make this a bit more smaller. Okay, so do you guys remember I told you guys the difference between var, let and const? Basically a basic difference between these two and this one. Remember? याद है क्या किसी को? Basically scope, right? If you guys remember, var was global scope. कितनों को याद है? Global scope. Whereas let and const were something called local or block scope. Let me reiterate it once again what we meant by that. Let's say I have a block, right? इतना तो याद होगा ना कि this is a block. We have done if else, we have done switch, we have done for loops, and we have done function. ठीक? So this is a block, basically a room. In this room, if I create a locker, right, which stores 1000, right? So if I do a console.log in locker, comma, locker, and if I do a console.log out of locker, right? Locker. What should I be printing? Should I be just printing line number 141, or should I be printing both of these? Right? So given that var is global scope, if I go and run this, it's not a function. Error law. Oh, my bad. Not this, not this. एक second. Let me quickly clear it. No. Function. This one. So am I printing both the data in locker and out of locker? Right? Right? So हम block के बाहर भी we are able to access this variable. Right? That's why this thing was called global scope. It's gonna be available globally. वहीं पे if we are creating a block and if I'm writing a locker 2 equals to 2000, and this thing is gonna hold console.log. Let me just copy this. I just paste this, and I'm just gonna make this as 2. Okay, and let me get this also. Yeah, sure. This is going to be 2 also. Correct. यहाँ पे let's create this as 2 and this as 2. Right? So what do you guys think? Given that this is block scoped or local scope, should we be able to print line number 148? 148 print करेंगे क्या? 148 तो print होगा. What about this one? Line number 150. No, right? If I run this, let me clear it. If I run this, I should be getting, let's see, in locker and out locker. This is for the var, right? And then inside the locker 148, we are printing it. But जैसे ही we are trying to access it out of locker 2, we are getting some error that says locker 2 is not defined. ठीक है? तो basically the difference between global and block scope. इतना याद आ गया सबको? Everyone? Clear? Clear? Right? There is one more scope. एक और scope है. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? उसको बोलते हैं function scope. उसको बोलते हैं function scope. अभी इसका क्या मतलब है? Let me show you. Let's say I've created a function to show scoping, right? And in this I've created a variable where str equals to string, right? If I'm doing a console.log str init, and if I'm doing a console.log str out here, ठीक है? So given that we already know कि in scope var is still a global scope, so should I be printing line number 160? Line number 160, should I be printing it? Yes, yes. I'm not calling this function, तो इतना तो पता है I'm not gonna print line number 157. I haven't called this function, right? But I'm printing str outside of this block. ठीक, so given that we know the feature of var, it's a global scope, we should be able to access this. Let me do a node on it, right? What is basically happening is str is not defined. Again, that error that we got for block scope. This is basically all function scoped, and the function, whenever we're adding this thing behind a scope, it basically gets function scoped, and this thing is not going to be accessible outside of this function at all. समझ आया? समझ आया? Right? Why so? क्योंकि in a website, do you guys imagine how many buttons might be in this website? In this Flipkart website, सिर्फ एक Flipkart website पे, how many buttons must be there, right? Or is it possible that multiple buttons might have similar variables, right? Let's assume hundreds है, right? So they don't get mismatched. इसका variable को दूसरा block का function का छेड़ने ना लगे. That's why we have this function scoping. ठीक? So the function scoping does almost similar to your block scoping. So you can go and say कि what can you say? All function scope are block scopes, but I can't say vice versa, right? Not exact. ठीक है? तो all function scopes are block scopes. Basically, इस टाइप का कुछ. इतना clear everyone? Any doubts in this thing? What we did in here? यहाँ पे क्या किया? Any doubts in here? Right? It has a bit of practical use, but a lot of use in your interviews. जब भी theory problems होते हैं ना, this thing is favorite. Function is work like let. Rahul, you can say कि it's gonna make it work like let. Exactly नहीं, makes it. ठीक है? Almost correct. Guys, any doubts in this thing? कोई भी डाउट है समझने में, समझाने में किसी को? नो नो, ठीक है. तो दिस थिंग वाज देयर जस्ट फॉर योर थ्योरी नॉलेज. अभी we have one more thing in our functions, right? Let's say I've written a function that says add a plus b, and basically we are calling this function and 1, 2. There's a keyword in function that is called return, right? Return का मतलब क्या होता है? हिंदी, इंग्लिश, anything? What do we mean by return? वापस करना, वापस करना. So let's say if someone is calling you, you should return them something, right? At least receive the call. That's basically happens in functions. Whenever we're calling a function, no, we're expecting something in return, right? And this thing in return is gonna be one thing. Let's say I have written a plus b, right? So basically, हम क्या कर रहे हैं? We're returning a plus b from this function, right? So if I do a console.log add on this function, right? You guys have seen कि I've not written console in this function. I'm writing it outside. तभी क्या होगा? If I do function in this, I'm printing 3, right? So let's say I'm creating a variable. Let value equals to this thing, right? So if I do a value in it, I should be getting 3. ठीक है? So we have a return statement in function. The reason is that is this possible कि ये function सिर्फ एक ही purpose के लिए use होगा, the block of code that is written. Let's say I have done a plus b in this function and I want to use this value for something else. Let's say मुझे I have to print the value of this addition and into 20. So let's say I have to do a final value equals to value into 20. I have to do something like this. So rather than writing a return, अगर मैं जाके if I write a function add a comma b and I do a console.log a plus b and I will call this function, will I be able to use this call for doing a multiply? No, right? Acha, let me make it a bit more clearer. ये जो return है ना, it's gonna return this a plus b, right? So it's gonna return a value, be it number, be it string, be it anything, right? So let's say एक second. This one और दूसरे code को let's keep it separate by this. ठीक है? So in this function we haven't written any return statement, right? Watch what happens if I do console dot let me do one thing. Let value 2 equals to let me name it as add 2, right? So add 2, उसके अंदर we're passing 1 comma 2, right? So quickly tell me if I just call this function, I should be printing 3, right? अगर मैं इस function को सिर्फ call कर रहा होता, I should be printing 3. Basic thing, just this thing. We're not talking about this for now. This thing, right? Let me go back. Abhi, if I do a console.log type of value 2, watch what happens. If I quickly clear it, if I do no function on it, what are we getting? We're getting undefined, right? We're getting undefined. When do we get undefined? When we haven't defined a variable, जिसको कोई value नहीं दी है. तो in JavaScript, we have to write a return statement in functions to return a value which JS is expecting, right? So the compiler expects a return value from a function always. ठीक है? तो वही if I show you, if I do this exact thing with this one, कहाँ तक है ये function यहाँ, right? So if I go and let me just erase this part for now, and value, if I do a type of it, we're returning something, everyone. What is that? What we are returning? We're returning a number. A plus b is a number. So if I do a node function of it, I should be getting a number. Clear? Clear? Okay. So let's quickly cover everything. एक बार फिर से this entire return statement, right? So let's say I have asked you guys to create a function that takes 2 parameters, right? 2 parameters, a comma b, and once you have done the multiplication, add 100 to that number, right? So basically you're going to write something like this, multiply, and in there you're going to write a comma b, and in this you'll be doing a console.log. Let's say you're creating a variable, right? You're going for more modular code. You're writing let multiple equals to a into b, and यहाँ पे जाके console.log you're doing multiple. right? Basic stuff that we're gonna do. Basic stuff that we're gonna do, everyone, right? And simply we're just gonna go and call this function. So with 2 or maybe 3. Okay. If I do this, I should be printing whatever we want, right? Whatever we want 6. So I'm gonna do that. Yahan pe I have to add 100 to it. All I can do is just add 100 to it. Okay. But here's the thing. Aren't we making this code much more static? हमने एक बार we have received something from this function, shouldn't we be able to use it anywhere? Right? That's why we have something that's called a return statement in functions, right? Let me just copy this entire thing. This thing, right? So that return statement, basically what it does is it's going to return something from your function. If I do a return multiple, it's going to return this multiple to us. If I give this thing, let's say n equals to multiple, or let me just console this entire thing. If I do a console.log, इस पूरे चीज को, let me just cover it in this. This entire thing is gonna be equals to the return statement. ठीक? So by that logic, what should we be printing in line number 194? 6. Everyone? समझ आता है? Right? And if we create a variable with this thing, let's say I'm creating a v multiply 2,3. Now we can keep on updating this thing by doing anything with it, right? I can do a v into 100 again, right? And I can go printing that. I can do a console.log v, I guess plus 300. We can go on doing that. We can keep on using this value, reusing this value. ठीक है? तो basically JavaScript expects a return statement from every function. All it does is, yahan pe you're gonna provide a return statement from this function. It's gonna give that as the value of that function. Plus yahan pe ek definition likh deta hu. A return statement is gonna give a value of a function and it acts as a break statement too. Break statement, you guys remember? Case में just अभी पढ़ा था, right? We don't go beyond that. एक बार break आ गया, we just stop that code. So let's say I am writing console.log hello world after this, and I'm gonna just call these functions. So I'm gonna do a multiply a comma b, right? If I do a node if in it, apply a comma b. Oh, my bad. A is not different, of course. We have to pass a value in it, right? My bad. Let me clear it. And if I do this, I'm not getting anything. ठीक? तो line number 133 is not gonna work क्योंकि हमने return statement एक बार लिख दिया. उसके बाद whatever code we have written, it's not gonna run. ठीक? Karan, here's the thing. Return statement stores a value, right? So it's gonna store the value of this multiple. If I write, let me just remove this thing. Now, if I'm just calling this function, do we, given that you're telling me कि the console and return are gonna act as same, do we expect it to print the value? ये value print करना, we are expecting it. If we run the code, should I be expected to print it? है ना? We should be getting 4 into 2, basically 8. If I run it, I'm not getting it, right? Return is basically something that's going to hold the value of whatever you want to return from this function. Okay, so you are going to get this as 2 into 4, that is basically 8, right? तो ये कुछ इस तरीके से होगा. Let multiply equals to 8. It's going to be looking something like this to JS. Now, is this variable going to print itself? No, we have to print it. So all you have to do is you have to write a console statement. console statement, console.log, and in this you will be writing your multiply function. You will be writing 2, 4. Now, if I go and run this function, I should be printing it. Okay? So basically, we're taking more control over this function. Clear how this return statement is going to work? Everyone? Everyone? Think the two things all you have to keep in mind. Once you have written a return statement, right? We are not going to access any code after it. Itna clear hai? If I write something after this, or not in here, yahan pe, let's say I'm writing a like in here, right? So let a, not a, like equals to 10. And after this, I'm doing a like plus plus. Do you think this thing is going to run ever? No, right? आप देख रहे होगे VS Code has colored it as light. If I click on it, I think it should gonna give. You can see it's written unreachable code detected. मतलब यहाँ पे कभी आएगा ही नहीं. If I write it just above return statement, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. ठीक? So it's gonna act as a break statement plus it's gonna hold the value of the entire function. Clear? इतना clear है? Guys, return statement clear or not? Everyone clear? All right. ठीक है. So just help me with something. Let's say, let me cover this also. Let's say I have a simple function that says function and of course a comma b, and in this I'm doing a console.log add not add a plus b. Okay, and we have a function that is called add to a comma b. This is gonna return hello world. Okay, not this. Hello world. A plus b times, right? Now, if I do a add a comma b, what should I be printing? I'm doing a add a comma b. Everyone. Nothing. Is a defined? कहीं पे भी defined है? नहीं? So we should be passing some values in it. Right? ठीक है. Now what? Now what? What am I gonna print? 30 everyone? 30 print करूँगा. Right? If I run add 2 and 20 plus 30, right? Just answer for this thing. ये तो मैंने बस just wrote it for purpose. इतने का answer दो. What should I be printing? Should I be printing 50 or not? No, right? A return statement, guys. है ना? That return statement is gonna give this a value. This entire thing, को it's gonna give this value. This value. Oh, my bad. Let me copy this. Let me paste this. And इसको, it's gonna give it a value of 50. ठीक है? It's gonna give it this value, but it's not gonna print it itself. उसको console करना पड़ेगा, है ना? So if I do a node function on it, I'm getting just 30. But अगर मैं यहाँ पे आके console.log add लिखूं, तो now I should be doing this not a number times. Okay, so 2, 30. है ना? Not plus, comma. If I run it now, I'm printing 30 for the first function क्योंकि उसमें already console statement लिखा है. And in the second function, we're basically returning this entire value and we're printing the value. इतना clear है everyone? सबको clear? No issues till now? Right? तो rather than writing console inside only, I would recommend you guys कि हमने जितने भी अब कोड लिखे हैं ना, try to write a return statement for it. Everyone. ठीक है, तो एक रिटर्न स्टेटमेंट लिखने का विल बी ट्राइंग rather than writing a console inside it. ठीक है, तो let me copy it once again. Let's talk about one more thing quickly. एक और चीज अगर पूछ लेता हूँ. So if I'm writing this in here and if I do console.log type of add 1, 2, right? Basically, I'm taking this function and I'm writing a type of it. What should I be getting? Should I be getting a number? Am I returning a value from this function? No return value, right? So it's gonna print a plus b, but this entire thing, it's not gonna be equals to something, right? So if I do this, I'm gonna print undefined. Wahi pe, if I do this exact thing for our second function in which we have written a return statement, add 2 and 1, 2. Now this entire thing is gonna be equals to this thing, right? And what's it? क्या है वो? It's a string. String, right? ये चीज string है. Everyone, come on. String है, right? Right? So if I run this mode, I should be getting string for it. Clear है? Clear है? ठीक. So rather than going for direct consoles inside function, it's recommended to return a value from function because JavaScript's syntax expects a return statement from us. ठीक है? Any doubts in return statement? Anyone? कोई भी doubt है? No doubts? All right. So I have a small problem for you guys. Let's say I want to create a function, right? A function banao which is gonna take number as parameter, a num as parameter, and basically we'll have to check if this num is even or odd, right? And return true if it's even and return false if it's odd, right? So basically we'll have to create a function which is gonna take a number as a parameter and you will check if that number is even, you will be returning true, else you will be returning false. Question clear everyone? 3 कहाँ से आ रहा है? Might be some code which was left. 3 was coming from this thing, right? ये function के अंदर we have written a console a plus b, यहाँ से आ रहा है. ठीक है, we were calling this inside this. ठीक है guys, is the question clear? This question? All right, try it everyone. 3 minutes. All right, so function check if number is divisible, return true, else false. Correct. Jeevan correct. Somkar correct. What's your name? Vishya. Correct. Correct, Rohit. Correct. Ashfaq correct. Guys, 1 more minute. Please try it. Correct, Rahul. Correct. Correct, Shubham. All right. Okay. So I'll call you that only. Chalo. Guys, let's do it together. We have to create a function which checks even. I guess I can name this function that. I'll give it a number parameter, and all I have to do is I have to check if number is divisible by 2. Is this gonna be even or is this gonna be odd? If it's divisible by 2, even, है ना? It's correct, Sakshi, but a parameter में pass नहीं किया है. ठीक है? We have to pass the parameter, तभी हम उसको use कर पाएंगे. ठीक? चलो. Now in here I can go and I can return a true. ठीक? Or most of you guys have done this, that's fine. ये भी चलेगा, but keep in mind question क्या बोल रहा है. ठीक है? This is also fine. You have written correct code. ठीक है? For now we are returning true. Then I can go and write return false. Take now I can go and call this function for let's say 2, right? So I'll have to print this because we are writing a return statement. It's not gonna print itself. We have to print it. If I do a clear node function, what do you guys think? I mean, I've already done enter. True. And 2 is even. If I put a 99 in here, is it a even or is it a odd number? Odd. So I should be getting false, right? So we are doing that. ठीक है? तो return statement is clear, everyone. समझ आता है? Everyone? Any doubts in that till now? Anything? No doubts? ठीक है. Let's see few IV problems. We should have a few IV problems. Just in a second, I'll open. This one. Sure. So problem 1, which basically says create a function to check if a number is prime or not. Quickly tell me, do we know how to check if a number is prime or not? Let's say I have let n equals to 5. Is it a prime number? 5. 5 एक प्राइम नंबर है, राइट? तो हाउ डू वी चेक दिस? डू वी रन अ फॉर लूप ऑन इट? क्विकली एक बार मुझे याद दिलाओ, व्हाट इज अ प्राइम नंबर which is divisible by 1 and the number itself, is that called a prime number? Everyone, right? So let's say I'm maintaining a count, let count equals to 0, and in here I'm doing a let I equals to 1. 1 से start करेंगे and I is less than or equals to n. If I do a I plus plus, in here I'm doing a count plus plus. If this count is equals to 2, can I say that number is a prime number? If the count is strictly equals to 2. Yes, right? So if I go in here and I write count is triple equals to 2, I can print console.log is prime, else I can do a console.log not prime. चलेगा this code? चलेगा, दौड़ेगा, कुछ भी? Right? If I do a clear on it, and if I do a node, we are getting not prime. Why? Any idea? Is 5 a prime or not? 5 prime है कि नहीं है? It's going to be divisible by 1. It's going to be divisible by 5. Are we checking the divisibility, people? Correct. Check तो करना होगा. We have to check the divisibility. Right? Right. So if n is divisible by I is equals to 0, अगर ये है then we are doing a count plus plus. भूल गए क्या सब कुछ? ज्यादा लंबी छुट्टी तो थी नहीं, 4 दिन की थी बस. अभी ठीक है? Everyone? Right? If I do a node function on it, I'm getting the number is prime. Right? Let's check it for 8. Is 8 a prime number? 2, 4, both, right? And 8 itself, if I do a function on it, we're getting not prime. So now we had to create a function, right? यहाँ पे question क्या बोल रहा था? Create a function to check if a number is prime or not. Logic हमें already पता है, right? Logic हमें already पता है. All I have to do is I have to create a function and let me call it is prime function. Function, and in this I'll be passing a num. और यहाँ पे all I have to do is num की बजाय let's pass n, क्योंकि हमने कोड में n लिखा है, right? तो all I have to do is I have to just pass a parameter. यहाँ पे let me just cut this. ठीक? Now rather than consoling it, I can write a return statement, right? तो यहाँ पे लिख दूंगा return is prime, else return not prime. ठीक है? Return usually don't works great with this ternary operators. So यहाँ पे let me just remove it. If count is equals to 2, I'll write a return statement which says is prime, else I'll write return not. ठीक है? Now if I call this function with a number, should I be getting whatever number we are passing वो prime है कि नहीं है? Right? So if I write is prime and I'm passing 10, should I be getting is prime not prime? Print करूंगा मैं? No. Why? क्यों? Correct. क्योंकि return statement है, we have to write a console in it, right? And I'll recommend कि आप इसको एक value में store कर दो, ठीक है? तो थोड़ा और अच्छा लगेगा. Rather than writing a congested all of things, we'll be writing value. Make sense? Should we be printing it now? Node is it's a not prime. Clear है guys? Any issues? नहीं? चलो, let's see second problem. Second problem, use the above code to print primes from 2 to a given limit. I mean, we can do this or not. Basically, we have to print prime numbers between 2 to a given limit. So let's say कि I have written 2 to 10. तो उसके बीच में we'll have to print the prime numbers. So your 3 will be a prime number, 5 will be a prime number, like all that. Can we do that, everyone? कर सकते हैं क्या? कर सकते हैं क्या? Concatenation से okay, that's fine. That's fine. So let me do it only. मैं ही कर देता हूँ. Let me just copy this code. Let me make this, and in here we are getting a number, right? हमें कहाँ से कहाँ तक print करना है? Let me go back. We have to print 2 to a given limit, right? So we have to check if that number is prime or not. We have to basically run a nested loop. Nested loop. Everyone? अच्छा, if I पहले तो always divide the question in steps, right? So we have to use above function to print prime numbers from 2 to a given limit. अभी के लिए function निकालो. We are going to do the second step, that is print prime number from 2 to a given limit. Have we done that before? पहले कभी किया है? We have, right? So let's say the limit is 10. Limit है 10. Can we print every prime number between let limit equals to 10? Can we do this? Yes, right? So first I'm gonna run a loop on this entire thing. तो कहाँ से कहाँ तक run करना है? We have to run from 2, right? So let 2 till I is less than or equals to 10. We're gonna do a I plus plus on it. Inside this, are we gonna check if that particular number, let's say 2 है, so I'm gonna check if this 2 is prime or not, right? So now I have to run this code on it, अभी फंक्शन की बात ही नहीं चल रही है, पुराने वाले कोड्स कर रहे हैं. Do we have to run this on it, everyone? Right? ये n के बजाय क्या होगा? This thing. Let me convert these I into j, right? And ये jif नहीं, if. ठीक. So now this n should be replaced with I, everyone. I. हाँ, इसको we should have keep dynamic. तो limit तक, right? ठीक है, correct. This should be converted with I. This should be I also, right? So let's say the limit is 10. If I do a count plus plus rather than doing a count plus plus, let array equals to an empty array, and if I do array dot push, I makes sense. I'm pushing every prime number in this array. Push याद है? Dot push जब array पढ़ा था, right? ठीक है. So now if I do a quick node function on it, we are not printing this array anywhere. So let me just do a console.log array. If I run it, I should be getting, but हम हर बार print कर रहे हैं. That might be a problem. So what's going wrong? This loop is fine. Even this loop is fine. What's the issue here? J limit होगा, okay. Array outside. I mean, I want to store the numbers in it, right? Okay, let me do a quick console on it. If I do a console.log what should I be printing? J, right? तो शायद यही गलती कर रहे थे क्या? Are we sending J or are we sending I? Were we sending I? Let me do a control Z on it. We're pushing I. ठीक है? तो a silly mistake actually. Right? So let me do a clear on it. Node. Array is not defined, of course, for sure. Node. Test. Right? So I mean we are pushing the prime numbers, but we are running this loop one more time. It's not gonna run till I. What do we mean by that? What am I missing? Guys, what's the issue here? Why are we printing these many numbers? क्या फिक्स करना होगा? बेसिकली क्या कर रहे हैं हम लोग? I mean, the issue is here. कि let's say we are starting with 2. ठीक? So now we are going till limit. So let's say limit is 10. So we should be going outer loop. Outer loop ka iteration should be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Right? But inner loop, हर एक iteration में we are running from 1 till this number. 1 से चलना चाहिए क्या इसको? Prime number का logic नहीं. Okay, you guys try it once. I mean, we have done it prior. है ना? 2 to a number. So I don't know what exactly are we missing here. Inner loop not required. All right. Okay. So we are getting a number. How do we check if that number is prime or not? Okay, here's what we were missing actually. Okay. So what we're doing wrong is we should be maintaining a count, right? Prime number check ही नहीं कर रहे, correct? Whoever said that, correct? You're not checking if this number is prime or not. Now I'll be doing if j is divisible by I equals to 0. I should be going for count plus plus, right? एक बार inner loop ends, I should be checking if count is equals to 2. I'll be basically array dot push that I. अभी सेंस बना रहा है कोड, right? Now we're basically checking if that number is prime, correct? So if I do console.log array now, let me clear it. Node, not index function actually. I'm getting still an empty array because why? If count is equals to 0 and we're dividing j with I as a number and I is this particular number. अभी क्या गलत कर रहे हैं? ये नहीं पुश करना है. We are checking this number, right? अरे यार. Let me get this entire thing. इसको x all we had to do was just to run that entire thing on that loop, right? Now rather than having this n, we have to keep I. So let n equals to I. This should make this thing work. Then let me get the i's और इसको convert कर दो j में and this one to j also and this one to j also. ठीक है? Now we should be getting is prime or not prime. So if it is actually prime, array dot push the I, right? Or rather n, and if it's not prime, don't do anything. Okay, so let's try to print this. Count is not defined. Count, let count equals to 0. Clear. ठीक है, अभी we are printing the primes. Come on guys. ऐसी छोटी सी mistake you shouldn't be doing, but anyways, that's fine. That's fine. चलो अभी let me walk you through the code once again. All we did was we already checked if a number is prime or not by this code, right? All we had to do was we had to run a loop and get all these numbers. That might be the issue. Yes. Okay. So now we are getting this thing. So let's get this entire code, right? And let's get it till here. And यहाँ पे let's create function of prime till n, right? And इसके अंदर let's pass a n और यहाँ पे let's write this, ठीक? तो n के बजाय prime till a limit, right? Prime till a limit. ठीक है? So now all we have to do is we have to pass limit in this function, right? And somewhere we have to return the function array also. So let's return array. ठीक है? Now क्या नाम है function का? We have kept it too long. तो prime till limit और इसके अंदर let's pass 5, right? Now if I write a clear node in it, I should be getting 2, 3 and 5. ठीक है? Let's make it 15. If I do a quick clear, can't see the clear code, right? Clear node. This thing, I should be printing each and every prime number till 50. ठीक है? So mix-up was in this thing, the prime number code. That should not be there because it was easy only. ठीक है? All we had to do was write a prime number code inside a for loop. ये आपने already किया है, तो try it once again if you don't remember it. But that's how we can create a function for that. ठीक है? Let's get to this one. Use the same function to print non-primes from 2 to a given limit. I mean, you can do this now, right? Non-primes basically print करने हैं, तो हमें इस condition में नहीं, basically इस condition में print करना है, right? तो all the non-primes should be in that array. हो जाएगा, everyone? Everyone? Right? All right. Let's check the next problem. Was it this one? Write a function to check if a character is small case or not. Try it. Let me quickly write it. I mean, can we check if a number is small case or not? Let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. You guys try this problem and the next one, right? Basically, आपको function create करना है and divide it. Always divide this entire thing in 2 steps up until you're learning it. ठीक है? तो just for now, पहले function लिखने के बाद just write a replace function to spaces in a given string, right? So all you have to do is, let's say यहाँ पे you have been given a string, right? Where str hello world I am coding, right? तो यहाँ पे you can see कि this string has these spaces, right? तो आपको क्या करना है? आपको return करना है this string in a format in which hello world I am coding. Can we do this? ये कर सकते हैं? Everyone? Can we do this or not? Okay. एक for loop पकड़ो. Just run this loop on str.length I plus plus. यहाँ पे just take another new string, and in this string, if str I is equals to an empty space, str plus equals to underscore, right? else str, not str, nstr actually, new string में, right? Else nstr में आप original चीज भरते जाओ, str type, right? So if I print console.log nstr, shouldn't I be getting what I'm trying to achieve? This one, right? I'm getting it. Hello world, I am coding. ठीक है? So can I convert this entire thing in a function? हमने code लिख दिया. Can I convert this entire thing in a function? Everyone? Easy, right? Just pick this code, right? Let me comment. Let's actually keep this. Let's write a function. Space removal, right? In here, let's pass a parameter. Just naming it parameter. पर यहाँ पे आपको str से बदल देना है param, right? यहाँ पे भी param, यहाँ पे भी param, right? So we have just converted the str with param, और अभी finally we should be returning, or not requesting, returning the nstr, है ना? So now if I call console.log this nstr, not nstr, my bad, space removal with, we have a predefined variable that is str. So if I do a clear on it, I should be getting this. Clear? तो पहले logic लिख लो and then create the function around it. Clear guys? So let's keep it till here only. ठीक है? In next lecture we'll be talking few more things regarding functions.